Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Entrepreneurship Zone, brought to you by the Education Support Forum. Today we're at GIBS, where we've been witnessing entrepreneurs pitching as part of the Festival of Ideas competition. Now I am with Luleka Mkuzo, who was one of the judges. How are you, Luleka?
I'm great. Thank you very much. I'm so grateful for being here.
It's a pleasure to have you. I know it's been a long day for you, but you've just given us a few minutes of your time just to tell us the experience of judging these amazing entrepreneurs. How was it?
It's amazing because it's very inspiring. Hearing what African leaders, young African leaders, are doing in different communities is really inspiring. And you are so hopeful, and you can see that Africa is going places.
Wow. So you know what? I mean, what struck me is that most of the entrepreneurs are solving real problems. I mean, whether it's toilets or it's water sanitation or environment, plastics, but it's real solutions to African problems. So how did you manage to come up with winners?
It's very tough. Very, very tough for the judges, I will not lie. And it's one of those things that you feel like you can explain to the people that are not selected that it's not that your idea is not great. But as judges, you're trapped to only select a few people. But it doesn't mean the other people don't deserve to be selected, because they are also innovators in their own right.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about you and your journey to be where you are today. Just tell us a bit in terms of the entrepreneurship space and how you have become a judge and what you're doing out there. Thank you.
So I enrolled for social entrepreneurship here at GIBS, and I did social entrepreneurship, and at the time I was employed by a mining company. And I'd say social entrepreneurship is what challenged me to sort of look at myself and to see what I wanted to do with my life, and to look at the legacy that I want my life to live. And then it challenged me to then face my fears and decide to leave corporate and jump and really follow what I really wanted to do, which was focus on community engagement and helping communities grow and develop. And then after leaving the mining space, I started my own company. And then I started engaging with rural communities, and the engagement itself led me to start what I do, which is mobile computer classes in rural communities.
Okay, so tell me more about your company. I mean, what's the name of the company, and where are you based? And, just anything about the company.
So You Are Global, which stands for Ubuntu Renaissance Global, is a company that was started to just help rural communities. One of the initiatives that I do currently is the mobile computer classes, which goes to rural schools, and we teach students, and we teach currently also the community members themselves, the youth that hasn't been taught computers. So I started the company, and then I pitched last year for the Festival of Ideas as well here at GIBS, and I was lucky enough to be one of the people that won the Festival of Ideas. But after winning, I was then able to also access a lot of other platforms where I won other platforms, and then I was selected for some fellowships, and then I also received a national award, which is then what GIBS has also wanted me to come and just speak to the other people that have entered the competition and share how winning the competition at GIBS has opened other doors for me.
Wow. Okay, so it's not a secret that in South Africa, the maths and science STEM education is basically bad, and I guess that's why maybe you're also intervening with the ICT training in the rural areas. And also the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor said that the entrepreneurial activity in South Africa is too low. What is going wrong? I mean, South Africa is not the poorest country in Africa. What is the problem?
So I'll say for me, and the space that I'm operating in, is that the problem is the communities I work in are very isolated. They're very isolated, and also they're very poor. And what happens, they don't get exposure. And when you've been poor for so long, you actually stop dreaming and wanting to see bigger things. So your dream becomes very small, because with exposure, seeing what other people are doing out there, you become challenged, and also you become challenged to look at your space and think, what can I do different to drive the growth? So in order for us to get those spaces to think entrepreneurial creativity, we have to bring exposure, which is ICT exposure, so they're able to actually connect, not necessarily be in Nigeria Nigeria or be in America, but see what the youth in those places is doing and be inspired to start looking within themselves and saying, if they're doing this in Nigeria, what can I be doing in my community that can also bring the growth that they're having in Nigeria?
Okay, so I mean, you're obviously working with youth when you do the ICT training and stuff, and everywhere you go, every platform nowadays, whether it's the World Economic Forum, whether it's the United Nations, World Bank, every other company, they're writing a white paper on the future of work and the youth bulge in Africa. What do you think is going to happen to our African youth? Do you think we are preparing them enough for this fourth industrial revolution and the other technological advancements that are happening?
So I think currently what is happening is that we are gearing up with regards to getting the equipment and preparing the equipment for the revolution itself. But where we lack is that we're not training the people for the skills that they're going to require for that equipment. So what we're doing is we're going to take the equipment and we're going to drop the equipment on our people, but then they're not going to be capacitated to handle that equipment. So what we need to do, as much as we're looking forward to preparing the equipment and preparing the latest technology that we want, we must think that in order for our people to be capacitated, we have to start training them. So when the equipment is coming, they're also equipped with the skills to handle that equipment.
Wow, amazing stuff. So I'm going to ask you as a last question, a hypothetical question, and say to you, if you had a magic wand and you were the strongest person on earth, what two things would you change for the betterment of the continent of Africa?
I'll definitely say firstly the education system. Definitely the education system. Okay, I'm into education, and currently the systems that are there, I think it's systems that we've inherited from our past, but it's systems that don't favor the majority of the people. So it's systems that really need to be critiqued and changed to actually meet up to the majority of the people, because currently majority of the people are not able to access, but then they also possess knowledge which is known as indigenous knowledge. So that knowledge needs to actually be recorded and needs to be recognized as well. So apart from that, I would say it's maybe creating an equal space where all players can actually participate in growing the country, because the space currently is not equal for people living with disabilities. It's not equal for people from rural communities. So we need to create a space for access is able to be granted to everybody, regardless if you are living with a disability, regardless if you are in a rural community. You must also feel that I also can contribute to the growth of the country.
Wow, amazing and profound. Thank you very much, Luleka, for helping us with your insights. The listeners out there, I mean, they are spread all over the world. I mean, we syndicate to all the major podcast platforms, be it Spotify, be it TuneIn, Spreaker, so it's all over. And definitely some people are going to hear this and they're going to love what you're doing. So how can people get hold of you? Do you have a website? Do you have an email address? Or how can people get hold of you?
I would love for people to get hold of me. So I do have an email address. My email is M for Mike, KU at U for Ubuntu, R for Renaissance, global.co.za.
Wow. Okay, so it's urglobal.co.za. So if our listeners out there, if there's somebody who has been tickled by what Luleka has been saying and wants to support her, whether it's hardware, whether it's just experience, sharing experiences, or even donating money, then please get hold of her at mku@urglobal.co.za. So thank you very much, Luleka. It's been amazing talking to you.
Oh, thank you so much for honoring me with this space. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.